2. What is gravity? So I was watching my video, and I remember getting to a point, I think it was like 13 minutes in, a little bit, maybe 12 something. I said something about the ice wall and how science proves the further you get away from the center of this world, the colder it gets in every single direction. Now think about that. If there's an ice wall, right? If there isn't an ice wall, because I don't give a shit. I don't care about the answers. I'm trying to figure out what is gravity, meaning what like people say it's like the force, and it pulls everything that the Lord made. It has a fucking reason to it. It's not just cause. That's what man makes up. Things just happen. No, it doesn't. Things happen because he wants it to happen. And that's it. You cannot break the will of God. When he wills something, it's because he said it's going to happen. And that's the only way it's going to happen. Forever. Now, that would make a lot of sense, seeing that in the model of the globe, when you leave Earth, the center, when you leave the line, the Earth plane, and you go up, the further you go up, the colder it gets. Then, if space is real, once you go out of space, there's no more oxygen. Get it? All of these elements of an environment, right? Or maybe not, it's the wrong word, elements. All these different levels of environment, all are things that are taken away from. It takes away the ability of a man to live there, to be there. You need oxygen to breathe. You need warmth to stay alive. So, what is gravity? Is it a placement? Is it a force that, just like a barrier, a dome, it keeps your ass in place and there's nothing you can do about it, because that's the way it is. That's the way it was. And that's the way it's always gonna be. Made me think about how they say on the flat earth model, the sun is, and the moon is close to Earth, right? And it's spinning in a circle around us. Wouldn't that make the only thing that it spins around be the place that gets the most heat? Therefore, warming up that area, right? Making that one spot where whatever made the sun and the moon, it logically said, yeah, if I don't put heat down there, it's going to be ice everywhere. So I'm going to devise something that's only going to allow right there. Right there. That's where it's all going down, baby. And then I thought about how, like, the North Star, if that's what they call it, it doesn't move. All the other stars spin, right? Just like the sun. It evolves around us. And then if you actually see the videos, you can see the one star when the camera's pointed up, and it's just one star in the middle. And I said, is that my father? What is that? It's like that's something. Is it a portal out of here? Is it a star? Is it the point of beginning of building for him? You know, the cornerstone thing. You know, like the pyramid. Gotta have that one on top in the center. You know, like the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. The trifecta. You know, like that's how like sailors and other people like learned how to get around this big ass earth plane that we're in, right? They learned how to like track the North Star and say, okay, we're on this side, so you know, this is, I don't know how that shit works, but I know that man didn't learn how to get around on his own. He used the sky. He used the stars. He used the things that are around him to know where he was. Now, that made me think, like I said in the last video, the Bible says that he made this the center of the reality for us, and we are the greatest thing in it, and it's all for us. You know? And that would mean no matter where I am in this man's reality, in your fictional talking, you make things, doesn't matter, I'm still just as special as you. Because the Lord chose me to exist too. The stealing and the conniving tricks and all that, nobody's even caring about it no more. You know? Nobody cares. Now, then it made me think. That makes a lot of sense of, you know? Why like ancient people would study the sky so much. It seems like every ancient culture, that's where they were basing majority of what they were gonna do on this earth, you know? I need to know when to plant my crops. They used the sun and the stars, and they mapped out what fucking season it was and when you should do things, because the big clock in the sky says dinner time is now, planting is now, and if you fucking do it different, nigga, plant your shit in the winter if you want, nigga, and see if it grows. Act like you don't have to follow me. Period. Act like the Lord ain't put this clock in there for your ass to know when to go to sleep and when to get your ass up. Act like the Lord didn't make order already. And see what it does to your life. Now, that got me thinking, what is gravity? You know? Because when man explains it, it's a force that holds things to the earth, right? Right? And when you get to the globe model and you have the mind of a child, but you're an adult, you know, you learn how to, you don't forget to ask simple questions, because those are the smartest ones. See, children ask questions, and it's always one simple question to the next simple question to the next simple question, but all those things will lead up to, if you actually know the answers, it will make the person completely understand without a shadow of a doubt. But also, when parents, you know, see, parents are a perfect example of any human being, scientists or not. If I ask your ass enough questions, you're gonna not know, and you're gonna just shut up. this is the way it is. Cause we, No, nigga. Just say you don't know. No, nigga. Say you don't know. Don't make up no excuses. Say you don't. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't have the answers. Don't bring up Albert Einstein and Neil deGrasse Tyson because, I asked this question, what's gravity? Because Neil deGrasse Tyson said they don't know what gravity is. So I make this video because of, very smart men and them asking questions. So you can't play that horse games around here. Now, when you think as a child, you're gonna go right to the easiest thing of how is the water on this bowl staying on? Because it's a circle. And to my recollection, circles can't hold water on it because it's a circle. It's going to drip off. Plain common sense. Something you can replicate right now and see it. You can dunk a ball in the water and then watch it, and you'll see what happens because of gravity, right? And then your brain goes, well, they said this whole thing's a big ass ball. So why isn't, and then they're gonna hit you with the gravity shit, right? And then my childlike mind asks even better questions like, okay, so gravity is a force that's pushing, right? You're saying that because that's what it does. When I jump up, I go back down. So that's gravity. It's forcing me back down, right? Okay, so there's a lot of water. There's more water than there is land, right? So that would mean that's a lot of weight, right? So gravity would have to have a lot of more force to keep that shit there. Wouldn't that make logic sense? I mean, I'm not a scientist, I could be wrong. So, if the water's there, and it weighs way more than I do, why don't I feel the pressure of gravity on my body crushing me when I stand near the beach? Why don't I feel the difference in gravity? How come gravity, how does it work, I don't really understand it. I don't think they do either, because, they kind of said it. So, I don't really care if I know the answer. I just I'm marveling. I'm amazed at the level of whatever it is can do and how it chooses to apply enough to each individual thing that lives here so it all stays in place. I'm amazed at that. Or are we on a flat surface and that's why the water is where it's at? Because any flat surface can retain water, like you can put a whole lot of water on a table and then put a bunch of rocks in there, right? And then you could build a circle around it, get like a glass dome and put the dome over it on your table, and then you could pour water from the top, like the heavens, like your God, and then because you got rocks in there, the water's gonna fill up. Confirmation. And then if you don't fill it up all the way, there'll be certain parts of those rocks that stick out the water, right? Now if you put tiny people in there, wouldn't that be what sun right now. Right? Throw some dirt in there. Get some grass for the rocks, you know? Get it? It's amazing when you watch men build models of things and, scientists and different things. You realize that man never built anything because they thought of it. No, they seen it. They seen the glory of my Father and then said, I want to do that. I want to make that where I can have that power. How can I obtain that? How can I make that like this? How can I bring that animal's ability? How can I be like the bird? How can I be like the gorilla? How can I be like the lion? You know? How can I be like the beaver and build dams? You think man made up dams? I think beavers were doing that way before we were, According to them, us, being cavemen and, having to start from the beginning.